The Postdoc Academy module, Working Effectively in an Intercultural Environment, encourages self reflection on the social identities that we hold and reflection on all the dynamic ways in which people interact with one another. It also encourages participants to explore the literature on microaggressions and implicit bias, and using case studies, reflect on the way they manage social interactions as postdocs.
The goal of this productive postdoc conversation is to provide you with the central ideas around identity to have an effective, supportive, and meaningful postdoc mentor conversation. The vast majority of mentors report that it is better not to ask mentees about intercultural issues, while mentees report in a similar ratio they wish their mentor did. The notion of treating everyone identically, referred to as colorblindness when discussing race, is fundamentally inequitable, since it means not seeing the full self. This applies across seen and unseen identities. Further, color blindness also does not acknowledge the specific challenges people of color encounter as they navigate education, research, and work environments that are predominantly white.
Acknowledging our identities is the first step towards understanding how our sense of self affects our interactions with others, but also to what extent and in what ways we hold privilege. The identity wheel displayed on the slide provides 7 groups of social, professional, and cultural identities. Feel free to use it or use the social identity grid linked below the video to reflect on the multiple identities, social, cultural, and professional, that you hold and how they intersect. Which identities do you think about most often? Least often? Why is it so? Which identities and intersections between different identities fuel assumptions and impact how you perceive yourself, others, the world around you? Which identities have the strongest impact on how others perceive or label you?
Feel free to pause the video and reflect on these questions. They aren't easy. When I first did this exercise, I found it was like holding a powerful mirror up and seeing myself as I had never had before, which helped me understand how others see me and my own privilege. If you are a postdoc, think about what your advisor might gain from this exercise. If you're an advisor, think about what your postdoc might gain. The ideas of identity, power, privilege, and positionality are part of our socialized practice in all aspects of life.
Different behaviors, encounters, situations, and contexts can make some identities we hold more salient and present for us and those around us. On this slide are displayed the titles of 5 articles that provide examples of ways in which the academic culture can be unwelcoming and non-inclusive of researchers based on one or more aspects of their identity, like gender, having a disability, belonging to the LGBTQ+ community, or being from a specific ethnic, racial, or socioeconomic background. All the authors and people interviewed in these articles share how they have to suppress parts of their identities and expression to fit in, to acquiesce and assimilate, and share some of the specific challenges that affect their training, their work and research experience, but also their sense of competence and their overall well-being. These challenges include accessibility constraints, lack of role models that look like them, mismatch with the cultural norms of academia, inequitable work demands or conditions, unwelcoming or non-inclusive work culture, microaggressions, and overt discrimination. In the face of all these challenges, one first step can be taken: asking them about their sense of belonging and listening to them to see what could help support them. Ignoring diversity and avoiding talking about any sort of ism does not make a research environment more welcoming. On the contrary.
Belonging lies at the intersection between diversity, the presence and recognition of difference, equity, acknowledging and acting to address advantages and disadvantages based on difference and socially constructed oppression, and inclusion, valuing, embracing, and succeeding through difference and with difference. Examining one's hiring and mentoring practice through a DEI lens is not an easy task, but it is key to ensuring that all researchers can work in an environment in which they can thrive. Everyone deserves it. Here are some key strategies to keep in mind both for mentees and mentors. Support mentees in building a network of mentors. Mentors do not have to do everything by themselves, and different mentors will support the mentee in different areas and ways. Support your mentee in seeking out mentors that share some of their identities. Start simple. Have a conversation about how you cook your favorite food, a meaningful object that represents your cultural history, or as an advisor, start with a personal narrative as a means of opening a door to connect and building trust. Don't avoid difficult conversations. Mentees whose mentors dare have a conversation on DEI and on ways to improve their sense of belonging are more satisfied with their work experience and the mentoring they receive.
Strike a balance between asking for and providing technical versus emotional support and encouragement. Candidly ask for feedback. See what you can learn from each other and from on and off campus resources. Seek to learn more about ways to include DEI in your research and mentoring practices. Share articles. We have added suggestions for you in the additional resources of this module.
The rest of this faculty toolkit contains a video interview of faculty members who share how they include DEI in their mentoring practices. You will also have access to a reflection framework to help you prepare for your conversations with your postdoc mentee. We know this isn't an easy space for you or your mentee, but our experience is that working together and engaging will pay huge dividends.